What's the Biz, your place for business and entrepreneurship. I'm so happy today to have one of my good friends, one of the best realtors in our area, Joel Hall. Joel, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. So tell us just a little bit about yourself, your background, where you're from, and how did you get into your profession?
So I've been a real estate agent now for 10 years. I started back in March of 2010. Really came out of necessity more than I was planning on truly going into a career in real estate. 2010 graduating. This is just a year or two after the kind of financial collapse. Not a lot of people are hiring, and I had a buddy who got his real estate license, so I thought, you know what, I'll get mine.
Right.
And ended up selling my first house within 4 days of working.
Wow.
And so I was kind of hooked ever since then.
Wow. Well, that's awesome. And tell us, what school did you graduate from?
I graduated from Louisiana Tech University and from Loyola College Prep here in town.
Here in town. Louisiana Tech, shout out to all our Bulldogs out there. Well, that's awesome. So just tell us, what do you love about your profession?
I love the ability that it gives me to not only dictate my own schedule, but be able to interact with people all the time, kind of like you do, in that sense that you are able to really try and reach people more so than just go after a deal or go, try and sell a property. You're able to really interact with people.
Right, awesome. So kind of from your background and from your growing up, how has that helped you with your profession now?
Well, with my background at Louisiana Tech, I was in finance, and so I'm very numbers driven, which helps me be very analytical when it comes to pricing properties, and then also trying to make sure that my buyer clients are getting the best deal, that they're not overpaying for anything.
Right. And I know real estate is one of those kind of tricky businesses at some time. So how do you kind of navigate some of the hardships with real estate?
Just like any sales position and any really seasonal, which I'm not going to say real estate is seasonal, but there's the ebbs and flows of, it's a little bit of a slower time of the year, in your winter months. But the way I've dealt with those, especially over the past 5 years, is that with how my career has progressed and the success and the consistency I see throughout the years, I just know that in some of those maybe off months, I just got to keep doing the correct marketing, keep doing the things that I've been doing over the last really 10 years,
right,
to keep reaching people, to keep being out in front of them and letting them know that I'm doing real estate and I'm here for them.
So just tell us, I know about navigating through real estate.
I mean, the biggest thing for me that I've learned over the years is just consistency. Consistently be marketing, consistently be getting out in front of people, and that will help you throughout some of those slower times throughout the year, because it's going to build back up, it's going to decrease here and there, but when I do have some of those slower months, that's what I tell myself to get through it, is just keep doing what you're doing, keep doing the marketing that you know works, keep getting out in front of people, and the business will come.
Exactly. And I know, like any other business, especially with real estate, like you say, it's not seasonal, but there are ups and downs, and there are high seasons and low seasons that you have to keep pushing. You have to keep marketing, even if you hadn't sold a house in a month or two, and that momentum is not there to create that momentum. Well, Joe, that's awesome. So we're going to come, when we come back, I want you to give us some advice on being in business now for 10 years, being your own boss, being an entrepreneur, some of the good, the bad, and the ugly. So when we come back on What's the Biz, we will talk about the good, the bad, and ugly of being in the real estate business.
My name is Jessica Latin, and I am the owner of JL Counseling. I provide individual counseling, family counseling, and group counseling, and I cover a variety of topics, including grief counseling, anger management, depression, and anxiety. Domestic violence and maternal mental health are two topics that are very near and dear to my heart, and there is a lack of services here in our community, and that is why I chose to specialize in those two areas. There is a huge stigma surrounding mental health these days, and I really want to be a beacon of light in this community to show everyone that your mental health is just as important as your physical health. My favorite part about the counseling process is watching my clients achieve their goals and seeing the smile on their faces and the change in their attitude really helps me to realize this is why I became a counselor.
So we're back here on What's the Biz with Joel Hall, an awesome real estate agent here in our area. So now it's time to kind of get into the meat of it. So
Okay.
tell us the good, the bad, and the ugly being a realtor.
Good. I get to create my own schedule. I'm very flexible. I like that because I'm able to pick up my kids,
Right.
and if I can pick them up a little early, that's always a good day. The bad, there are no days off.
Right.
There are no nights off. I've had people call me, text me at 9, 10, 11 o'clock. I've had clients that have lived overseas that I've had to be on the phone with at 3 o'clock in the morning. That's part of it. Ugly, I don't know if I'd really say there's really anything ugly about the business.
Right.
Only thing I would think is the unexpected upfront cost. I don't think a lot of people getting into real estate realize that, how much it costs to get your license, to pay all your board dues and your fees. I think that's just like any business. You have
Right.
startup costs, but it's pretty hefty.
Right.
It's a few $1,000s just to be able to say I am a realtor.
Exactly.
And then that's before any of your marketing or any of your time. And time for us is one of our biggest values.
Right, that's one of the biggest values. And like you said, the good part about it, I tell everybody with entrepreneurship, of course you get to create your own schedule, you get to do what you want to do per se.
Exactly.
But you bear the burden of all of the bills, you bear the burden of all of the marketing, all of the communications.
Yeah.
At some point has to go through you. So what kind of keeps you motivated, even though, because we know entrepreneurship is hard and being a business owner, what motivates you at some of those darker times when maybe it's a little slow for a second? Now, I know you're Joel Hall, so it's not slow a whole lot, but we know at times it can be a little slow. So what motivates you?
What motivates me is really honestly the higher times, because they're going to come back.
Right,
You
right.
know that the slow times are just, that's it. It's one time, maybe a year or so. What motivates me is just being able to know that I'm going to be able to help many families
Right.
every year buy a house.
Right.
And a lot of times you don't know where that next deal's coming from, but that's the great part of our business. Is like I
Right.
said, if you're getting out and you're meeting with your friends, you're meeting with people, finding out who might need a house, you're going to find somebody. So I get to have a good time by meeting people, being with friends and family, and then maybe some business will come from that.
Exactly.
But yeah, that's what really motivates me, is knowing that as long as I keep doing what I know to do right, that it's going to work out.
Awesome. So tell us, with your process, how do you make it a little bit easier for the buyer and the seller? I've been blessed to, I've bought two homes, and I've sold a home. And at one time, we bought and sold a home. And we know that process is not easy at all. It can be very stressful. I think at the time that me and my wife we were buying and selling our house, she was pregnant as well.
Okay.
So we had to deal with that on top of that. So just tell us, with your process, how do you make that just a little bit easier?
One of the biggest things that I promote of myself is that when you hire me, you get me. I don't have an assistant. I'm probably one of the few agents in town that does the volume that I do that doesn't have an assistant. Don't have a closing coordinator. I don't pass you off to a buyer's agent, anything like that. When you hire me, whether you're buying or selling, you get me. You can call me and you're getting just me. And that's a big thing that I promote, because I'm with you from start to finish throughout the whole process. No matter what happens, I'm going to be the one. If there's a problem, I'm going to be the one dealing with it. And I think that helps a lot of buyers, and especially sellers, know that I'm the one in charge of taking care of everything, and to make sure that everything is as smooth as it can be. We know regardless, everything can be completely smooth, but it's still stressful moving.
Exactly,
There's still a lot going on in
yes.
everybody's head of, oh my gosh, well I've got to get this packed, and then I've got to get this moved, and then I got to schedule the movers, and then I got to unpack, and especially if you've got a pregnant wife, that is even doubly, because it's all on you now.
Right, exactly. Well, that's awesome. So we're going to come back one more segment. We're going to talk about some advice that you would give somebody maybe starting out in real estate, or even advice that you would give somebody looking to invest. And then we want to know, what are your future plans? What are you planning to do in the next 10, 20 years? So we'll be right back on What's the Biz.
It's just Dillas?
Just Dillas.
Only Dillas.
Only Dillas.
Dillas.
Yep.
Primo quesadillas?
Primo quesadillas.
What's the Biz? We're here again with Joel Hall, one of the best realtors here in Northwest Louisiana. So Joel, first, give us some advice, or give our viewers some advice. Somebody that's looking to get into being a realtor, what would you tell them?
I would tell them, first thing is study up on what courses you're going to take. There's a standardized test that you can take either here somewhere in town. BIPSI, I think, offers it. A couple other places around town offer it. Or you can go online and take your test. There's different programs, but it's all really the same test. From that, understand what you're getting into. Talk to somebody that's in real estate. Again, like we talked about, know what upfront costs you're expecting, and then, especially starting off, have some money built up.
Right.
Have a little bit of money built up,
right.
because it's going to be a learning curve and a pay curve when you start out, for sure.
Wow. So next, what type of advice would you give for somebody that's looking to take the other entrepreneurship route and invest in real estate?
It depends on what you're looking for, but a lot of it, we've seen a lot of investors come kind of off the streets over the past couple of years, because there's a lot of great HGTV shows out there, the fix it and flip it's, everybody wants to do it, and I love it, especially for Shreveport, because there's plenty of neighborhoods that could use it.
Exactly.
And that you can find good deals and sell them for a good price. What I would tell them is get with your realtor and kind of game plan, get a little strategy going of what you're looking for, either in trying to flip or trying to rent something, if that is the route you're wanting to go. And the realtor should be able to kind of guide you into the areas of town that fit your price category.
Right. Mm-hmm. Awesome. So also tell us, Joel Hall, what's the future looking like for you?
Well, my wife would tell you we were having another kid. Okay. I don't know about that. I don't know about that yet. As far as I can see right now, I will be in real estate for a very long time. I can't see leaving it in complete capacity for a very long time. Right now, I have a partner and we have investment properties, so we're always looking to buy on that. My wife and I are looking at some possible Airbnb operations here in town to try that market out. So it's a lot of real estate heavy investments is really what kind of my next 10, 15 years will be, and just growing with the family and watching my boys grow up and trying to be there as much as possible. That's really it.
Awesome. Well, is there anything else? And also tell us, where can people find you and what your website and all of that good stuff?
Well, my website is www.joelmhall.com. Our office is located at 9242 Ellerby Road. You can reach me at 464-7003.
Awesome. So anything else in the world of business, real estate, that we should know about Joel Hall and about what you have going on?
Shreveport Bossier is a great market right now. We've got a lot of new construction on both the tips of North Bossier and South Shreveport. There's a lot of good deals out there that we're seeing right now. So this is probably one of the best times to get into real estate if you're looking to invest. And if you're looking to buy or sell, I'd love to help you.
Awesome. Well, again, thank you so much for coming on the show with us today, sharing your wealth of knowledge and your journey in real estate. And we know that you're going to do some great things for the next 20, 30, 50 years. And we're just excited to have you on the show today. So again, this is What's the Biz, your place for business and entrepreneurship. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next time.